Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're grabbing a stack of expert source material. These are guides written specifically for people with severely compromised immune systems, like those undergoing cancer treatment.
Yeah, and we're pulling out the really core, high-stakes principles, things everyone needs to understand.
Exactly. This is a deep dive into active food safety protocols.
Yeah.
Something maybe not talked about enough.
It's so necessary because, oncologists and patients, they rightly focus on the immediate side effects, fatigue, pain, nausea.
The things you feel right away.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's this silent and, frankly, much more dangerous risk just lurking, foodborne illness.
And the clinical reality here, it's quite stark, isn't it? Chemotherapy, it's designed to hit fast-growing cells.
Which is what you want it to do.
But in doing that, it kind of takes down the body's whole defense network temporarily, the immune system.
Precisely. So for someone healthy, maybe a few bacteria on, say, an apple or in a slightly undercooked burger, it might mean an uncomfortable day, maybe.
Right, you feel off for a bit.
But for someone whose immune system is suppressed, that tiny, invisible amount of bacteria can suddenly trigger a severe, potentially life-threatening infection.
Which then leads straight to an emergency room visit, hospital admission. And this is the critical part, a necessary delay in their life-saving cancer treatment schedule.
The stakes just couldn't be higher. Protecting that treatment schedule, that is the whole goal here.
So our mission for this deep dive is really specific. We're moving the conversation beyond just general healthy eating into very specialized safe eating. We're essentially laying out the food safety blueprint for anyone who needs to operate with, well, zero tolerance for risk.
And to really get the rules, you have to understand the why, the state the body is in. The rules change completely because the body is now immunocompromised.
Or what's the clinical term you mentioned? Neutropenic.
Neutropenic, yes.
And what does that mean specifically? Is it just general weakness or something more precise?
Oh, it's very precise. It means there's a dangerously low number of neutrophils. These are a specific type of white blood cell. Think of them as the frontline soldiers.
Okay.
They patrol the body, fight off germs. When those guards are missing or their numbers are weighed down, the entire battlefield changes. Any germ can invade.
I see. So the goal shifts, right? It's not just about getting vitamins anymore. The primary objective becomes active prevention.
Exactly.
The sources really argue you have to reframe your whole relationship with food prep. Your kitchen basically becomes a clean room.
It does.
And you're the chief of infection control.
That shift in mindset is, I think, really powerful. And if you connect this back to the bigger picture, mastering these simple kitchen rules, it's a direct defense of your treatment continuity.
Right.
Every single time you prevent even a small germ issue, you protect that schedule. And protecting the schedule is just paramount to successful treatment.
The good news, though, is that these standards are actually crystal clear.
Yeah.
The sources give us this brilliant organizational framework, the 4 pillars of a safe kitchen.
Clean, separate, cook, and chill.
Yeah, that structure makes it feel manageable, doesn't it?
Definitely.
Okay, let's dive into pillar 1. Clean. This is the foundation. And the rules here, they're absolutely non-negotiable.
Starting with the most basic but critical, hands. Frequent washing. Before cooking, definitely after handling any raw ingredients, after using the restroom, even after petting animals.
And not just a quick rinse?
No, we're talking warm water, soap, and a minimum of 20 seconds. You know, the classic sing happy birthday twice method? It sounds simple, but that rigor is key.
And that same rigor has to extend to surfaces, counters, cutting boards, sinks.
Everything. Hot soapy water or disinfectant wipes. And crucially, before and after every single time you prep food, you're actively sterilizing your workspace.
Okay, now produce. This is where it gets maybe a bit more restrictive, but as you said, vital.
Yeah.
All fruits and vegetables must be washed thoroughly.
But, and this is the big but for an immunocompromised person, the golden rule really is, if you can't cook it or peel it, you should probably consider skipping it.
Wow. So that immediately puts something like a raw salad, which we think of as healthy,
right,
into the high-risk category.
Right.
Because you can't really sterilize every nook and cranny of leafy greens.
Exactly. Steamed broccoli is inherently safer than a raw spinach salad in this context.
Okay. And you mentioned a fantastic, non-obvious detail about fruit with thick rinds, like melons, oranges, avocados.
Yes. This one trips people up. You must wash the rind, preferably with a brush, before you cut into it.
Why? If I'm peeling it anyway, doesn't the bacteria just go away with the peel?
Ah, but think about the knife. When you slice through that unwashed rind, the knife blade itself becomes a vector. It drags any bacteria sitting on that outer surface, and there can be quite a lot, right down into the clean, edible flesh inside.
Okay, that makes sense. That microscopic transfer.
Could be enough. Enough to cause a serious infection and potentially jeopardize the chemo schedule.
That melon rind detail really drives home how specific the risks are. Okay, let's move to pillar 2, separate. This is all about preventing germs from moving between different foods, cross-contamination.
Right. And the first rule here, again non-negotiable, 2 cutting boards. Absolutely essential.
One strictly for raw meats, poultry, fish.
Correct. And the other one dedicated only to produce bread, ready-to-eat foods. They cannot share duties, even if you wash them really well in between.
Now I know some listeners might think, oh, come on, 2 boards. Can't I just scrub my one board really hard, maybe with bleach?
The sources are really adamant here. Separate is safer. Even the most aggressive washing can miss microscopic grooves or cuts, especially in older wooden or plastic boards. And since the consequences are so severe, we're talking hospitalization, treatment delays the extra step of physical separation is really seen as mandatory.
Understood. It's about minimizing every possible risk.
Yeah.
And the fridge isn't safe from cross-contamination either, is it?
Not at all. Raw meat must always be stored on the bottom shelf.
Bottom shelf. Why specifically the bottom?
To prevent any raw juices, which are often teeming with bacteria from accidentally dripping down onto other foods, like cooked leftovers or fresh produce stored below, it needs to be in a sealed container, or on a plate too, obviously.
Okay. And a simple serving rule.
Yeah. Never put cooked food back onto a plate or platter that previously held raw meat. Use a clean plate every single time. Seems obvious, but easily forgotten when you're busy.
Small steps, potentially massive consequences.
Right.
Pillar 3. Cook. Heat is your best friend here.
It's your primary weapon against germs. And the sources are emphatic. A food thermometer is mandatory. It is absolutely not an optional gadget in an immunocompromised kitchen.
Why isn't just looking at the color or touching it reliable enough? We do that all the time.
Because only the internal temperature tells you for sure if you've killed the pathogens deep inside the food. You know, the pinkness of chicken or the redness of steak. That's not proof of safety. Not at all.
So you need to get specific, verifiable numbers, these magic numbers.
Exactly. Let's run through the critical ones. 165 degrees Fahrenheit. That's your target for all poultry, chicken, turkey. Also for all leftovers, no matter what they are, and all casseroles. Leftovers need to be steaming hot all the way through.
165, got it.
Then 160 degrees Fahrenheit. This is for all ground meats, ground beef, pork, lamb. They need that slightly lower temp, but it's still crucial.
Okay, 160 for ground.
And finally, 145 degrees Fahrenheit. This is for whole cuts of beef, pork, lamb, and also fish fillets.
145 for whole cuts and fish.
Mm-hmm.
And what about eggs? No more sunny side up.
Afraid not. Eggs must be cooked until both the white and the yolk are completely firm. No runny yolks allowed. The risk of salmonella is just too high.
So the guiding principle here is,
when in doubt, cook it longer. Safety trumps texture or preference every time in this situation.
Absolutely. Okay, final pillar, pillar 4. Chill. This is about stopping bacteria from multiplying in the first place.
Right. We need to understand the enemy, the danger zone. That's the temperature range between 40 degrees Fahrenheit and 140 degrees Fahrenheit.
So basically, slightly cool to fairly warm. Room temperature falls right in there.
Exactly. And in this zone, bacteria can multiply incredibly fast. Some can double their numbers every 20 minutes.
Wow. That rapid growth leads directly to the critical 2-hour rule, right?
Precisely. Perishable food, think meat, dairy, cooked leftovers, cut fruit, absolutely cannot be left sitting out at room temperature for more than 2 hours.
2 hours max.
If it's a hot day, say over 90 degrees Fahrenheit, like a picnic or just a hot kitchen, that safety window shrinks dramatically. It becomes just 1 hour.
1 hour, that's not long at all.
It really isn't. And remember, if those germs start multiplying, the clock isn't just ticking on maybe getting a mild stomach bug. It's ticking down to a potential hospital visit that interrupts that vital cancer treatment.
That really puts refrigeration into perspective. It's not just about food quality, it's about immediate safety. Now, what about thawing? So many people thaw meat on the kitchen counter overnight.
That is exactly what you cannot do. Thawing on the counter is dangerous because the outer layers of the food warm up into that danger zone very quickly, while the inside is still frozen solid. It's like giving bacteria a head start.
So what are the safe ways?
Only 3 safe ways. 1, in the refrigerator, that's the best and safest method, just takes planning. 2, in the microwave, if you're cooking it immediately after. Or 3, submerged in cold tap water, but you have to change that water every 30 minutes to keep it cold.
Refrigerator, microwave, or cold water changed often. never the counter.
Never the counter.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. We've covered the 4 pillars: clean, separate, cook, chill. But even if you follow those perfectly, the sources highlight some foods that are just inherently too risky. This is the avoid for now list.
Yeah, this list requires some temporary discipline, but it's crucial. First off, pretty much anything raw or deliberately undercooked is out.
So no sushi or sashimi, no rare steaks, definitely nothing like steak tartare.
Correct, and that naturally extends to eggs, as we touched on, no runny yolks. Also, be careful with homemade things that use raw eggs. Certain Caesar dressings, mayonnaises, homemade ice cream, unpasteurized eggnog.
Okay, what else?
Unpasteurized products. Pasteurization is that heat treatment that kills harmful germs. So you need to check labels carefully. Avoid anything that says raw or unpasteurized.
This includes
Raw milk, obviously. Some ciders and juices can be unpasteurized, so check those. And then there are specific high-risk soft cheeses.
Which ones are we talking about?
Things like brie, feta, camembert, blue cheeses like Roquefort, and Hispanic-style soft cheeses like queso fresco or queso blanco, unless the label explicitly says they're made with pasteurized milk. Hard cheeses are generally safer.
Okay, so soft cheeses and unpasteurized rings. Now, deli counter meats and hot dogs. This one might surprise people. I thought if it's commercially packaged, it's safer.
This is a really important one. Deli meats, sliced turkey, ham, roast beef from the counter, and even prepackaged hot dogs, they carry a significant risk for a very nasty pathogen called Listeria.
Listeria. What's special about that one?
Listeria is particularly dangerous because, unlike many other bacteria, it can actually grow slowly even at refrigerator temperatures.
Oh, wow. So just keeping it cold isn't enough.
Not reliably, no. The sources are absolutely clear on this.
Yeah.
Deli meats and hot dogs are only considered safe for an immunocompromised person if they are heated until they are steaming hot.
So back to that 165 degrees Fahrenheit standard we talked about for leftovers.
Exactly. You have to reheat them thoroughly every single time to kill any potential Listeria. Eating them cold is just too risky.
Okay, that's a big one. Deli meat needs to be steaming hot. What else is on the avoid list?
Raw sprouts. Things like alfalfa sprouts, bean sprouts, radish sprouts.
The kind you put on sandwiches or salads.
Those are the ones they should be avoided completely. The problem is the conditions they're grown in, warm and moist, are absolutely perfect for bacteria like E. coli and Salmonella to flourish. And those bacteria can get inside the seeds, making them basically impossible to wash off effectively.
So just skip the sprouts entirely. Got it.
And we also need to talk about eating out, specifically things like buffets and salad bars.
Yeah, those seem like they could be tricky.
They're more than tricky. The advice is to avoid them completely. It's just too much of a gamble. You have absolutely no control over who handled the food, how carefully they did it, the temperature control, or how long that food has been sitting out in the danger zone.
It's too many unknowns.
Way too many unknowns when the stakes are this high. It's simply not worth the risk while the immune system is still recovering.
Okay. And finally, a quick note on water sources.
Yes. If your water comes from a private well, it needs to be tested regularly to ensure it's safe from bacterial contamination. If you can't verify its safety, or if you're unsure, the safest bet is to stick with bottled water or boil your tap water before drinking or using it in food prep.
Right. Municipal tap water in most developed areas is usually treated and safe, but well water needs that extra check.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. I know when you lay all these rules out together, the 4 pillars, the specific temperatures, this whole avoidance list, it can sound incredibly restrictive, maybe even overwhelming.
It really can, I get that. But it's so important to reframe this effort. This isn't about living in fear or being paranoid.
It's about
taking control. It's about actively managing the one environment, your kitchen, your food, that you can fully control during a time when so much else feels out of your hand.
That's a great way to put it. Every single step, whether it's washing that melon rind like we talked about, or using the thermometer without fail, each one is an active, tangible action you're taking for your own self-care, for your safety.
These are simple, practical steps, yes, but together they form essential armor against a really severe threat. These acts of vigilance keep you safe, they keep you strong.
And crucially, they make you a proactive partner with your oncology team.
Right.
Keeping you on that path to recovery.
Absolutely. You're actively helping to ensure the treatment can proceed as planned.
So wrapping this up, what's the real takeaway here? I think the most profound benefit of mastering these, seemingly simple kitchen rules, it isn't just avoiding a temporary stomach bug.
No, it's much bigger than that.
It's the unwavering, quiet, but incredibly powerful protection of your scheduled treatment window. It's this hidden investment you make every day that helps guarantee you stay in the fight against the illness itself.